I'm going to do a little video today. I'm going to read from this book, Simply A Course in Miracles by Alau Alani. That's my pen name. And I've been reading this part of the book where I bring in some great quotes from some of the great mystics and poets and gurus and teachers of the past and compare them to A Course in Miracles and show how they relate to A Course in Miracles and show that the A Course in Miracles is really not coming in a vacuum. It's really, there's been so much that has come before. A Course in Miracles just kind of brings together this whole, you could say, this whole alternative universe that many people are not even aware of, of thought, because a lot of it did not get into the canon. Like, for example, you take the Gospels, the New Testament. There are 27 books in the New Testament, and that's considered the canon. And anything that's not in that canon is considered to be apocryphal or non-canonical. Maybe not apocryphal, but non-canonical, and it's not accepted. Like, for example, the Gospel of Thomas. One of these days I'm going to do a video on the Gospel of Thomas, but the Gospel of Thomas is not in the New Testament, but it contains something like 114, I think, sayings of Jesus, and it's somewhat Gnostic, and it definitely has something of great value to anyone that's interested in Jesus and early Christianity and just Christianity and Gnosticism. And so anyway, today we're going to talk a little bit about Emily Dickinson. She was a 19th century poet. She only lived about 56 years. She was from a prominent family in Amherst, Massachusetts. She wrote about 1,800 poems over the course of her life. Only like 10 of them were published during her life because she was very reclusive. She was also considered eccentric. Her poetry also was quite different. I think anyone, she has been, since lauded as one of the great poets of all time, greatest poets of all time. I feel that too. I love her poetry, and I have even done songs based on her poetry, with the guitar. One of these days I might do one of those songs. She was brilliant, and she was also very, very deep thinker, and she put it all so simply in her short poems. So I'm not going to read, maybe I'll read one of her poems, but I'm just going to read some quotes, from some lines from some of her poems. Here's one. Forever is composed of nows. Now and now and now and now and now. The eternal now. and the greatest gift that we have to give is the gift of presence, our own presence, our loving presence. And that is to be in the now. In the holy now, the holy instant. Beauty is not caused, it is. Beauty is not caused, it is. And that is like what the Course says, is that you can just replace beauty and love and truth. They're all the same, really. Truth is not caused, it is. Love is not caused, it is. You cannot find the truth by achieving it. You can't, it's not like a goal that you can go and get. It's something that already is, and that you just need to remember by getting out of the way everything that's in the way. So love, you could say is an eternal creation. Was it ever created? No, it's an eternal thing, and it is for us to find. And beauty is part of love, right? Beautiful things come from love. Like Emily's poetry. Tell the truth, but tell it slant. Tell the truth, but tell it slant. So Emily Dickinson was known for her slant rhyme. She did not rhyme a lot of words. Like, she didn't rhyme like moon and June. That would be like a not a slant rhyme, but a more of a pure rhyme. But she would rhyme like moon and new. They sound similar, but it's not exact, right? I'm not thinking of one of her rhymes right now to give an example, but you get the idea. Now, what does this mean? Tell the truth, but tell it slant. Don't tell the truth. She had a poem. This comes from one of her poems where she says, "Tell the truth, but tell it slant. Success in circuit lies." And I'm not going to say the whole poem, but basically the poem means that if you try to tell people the truth, just in direct terms, many times it's too much. It blinds people. People are not ready for the truth. It's they need to hear things. They need to kind of like warm up to the truth gradually. And that's Jesus's whole methodology in the Course in Miracles, is like, he doesn't want to scare or terrorize us. He doesn't want to traumatize us. So he uses words that will speak to us at the level at which we think we are. And so Emily also wrote her poetry that way in many ways. It's hard to decipher what she's getting at. You kind of have to, it's a little bit mysterious. But when you get to the point where you can decipher it, then you're ready to understand what it is. And maybe you weren't able to understand it because you were afraid, right? You didn't want to know. You weren't ready to go there yet. So tell the truth, but tell it slant. Awaken. People don't want to wake up generally right away. They want to be in the dream a little bit more, and maybe wake up more gently and gradually. So anyway, I dwell in possibility. What Jesus is telling us in the Course of Miracles is he says it's impossible. But as Jesus says in the Gospels, for God, all things are possible. For humans, maybe not, but for God, everything is possible, and God holds all possibilities within God's self. So in a sense, God holds the possibility of not God, which, try to wrap your head around that one, because I think ultimately what Jesus is getting at with the Course is that this world, from the ego's perspective, this world was made as a way to get away from God, to hide from God. And that's the ego thought system. But the Holy Spirit's thought system will bring you to the awareness that this world is still part of God, because the Son of God, this is the Son of God's dream, and the Son of God has never left his Father. So in that sense, this world is still part of God. And, we could really go into that thought very deeply, maybe another time. We'd have to really talk about that. But I think that also solves a big issue people have with the Course. It's like, what do you mean this world is a cosmic mistake? What do you mean that this world, that this world is wrong? Well, in a sense, the world can be purified through the vision of love and forgiveness. The world, and you could see the world as it truly is. Right. So, but let's leave that for another time. So, I dwell in possibility. Next one. Not knowing when the dawn will come, I open every door. And this, to me, we'll just say this is a way of saying, stay open. Right. Don't close any door. Do not burn any bridge. Stay open to all possibilities. Don't close yourself in any way. Close yourself only to the denial of truth, which is the ego thought system. Just say, no, I'm not going to go there. I can acknowledge that that's there, but I'm not going to give my energy and attention there. So I'm not opening my door to the ego necessarily, but I'm opening my door to truth. Dogs are better than human beings because they know but don't tell. That's a great one. I'm not going to go deep into that one right now. But I'll read it again. Dogs are better than human beings because they know but don't tell. Who has not found the heaven below will fail of it above. Who has not found the heaven below will fail of it above. This is a great one. I think this is what the Course is getting at too, which is heaven is here, heaven is now. Heaven is here, there is no other place. Heaven is now, there is no other time. If you don't find it here and now, where do you think you're going to find it? So don't think, that's kind of the pie in the sky thing of, you might say, conventional religion and maybe conventional Christianity, which is, yeah, you're going to die and go to heaven if you do good things here and you live a good life and you do acts of charity and so on. But the Course is taking us, it wants us to take us deeper, right? It's taking us on a mystic unwinding of the egoic consciousness totally, so that we can experience heaven and love here and now, and we do not have to wait for it. But we can see that is everywhere. Love is everywhere. It's not just in heaven. And we can be in loving relationship with everyone and everything if we so choose. Here and now, not when we go to heaven and meet our relatives there, and then everything is all rosy with them. No, we want to do it here and now, and that's the only time that counts, and that's the only time that really exists, is the here and now. So anyway, I'm nobody. Who are you? Are you nobody too? I'm going to read you the poem. This is the poem. I'm nobody. Who are you? Are you nobody too? Then there's a pair of us. Don't tell. They banish us, you know. How dreary to be somebody. How public, like a frog. To tell your name the livelong day to an admiring bog. So frogs, they just ribbit all day long to the bog. This is not a slant rhyme. This is a straight rhyme here. The frog and the bog, right? I'm nobody. Who are you? Are you nobody too? Now, did Emily mean this in a deeper sense, like the Course? Because the Course says, I am not a body, right? I'm nobody. I am no body. My reality is beyond a body totally. I have a body at this moment, and I will use my body lovingly, and I will treat my body lovingly, but ultimately I am not a body. And God is not a body. God is not a personality. I am not a personality. I am something else. Does Emily mean that? I think she probably did. She probably did. We'd have to go into that more deeply. I don't know if I want to go into it right now. In a way, she meant that maybe more in a societal, kind of a conventional way. But I believe she was a very deep person. I wonder if she was a transcendentalist. There was Emerson, there was Thoreau. Some of those guys who were called the Transcendentalists. I'm pretty sure she was part of that group, but I'd have to check and see if she. I know that I'm pretty sure she knew Emerson. So and these guys were reading the Hindu scriptures. They were reading the Bhagavad Gita. They were reading the Vedas. So they were aware of these things, what we're talking about. They were very deep thinkers. And Emily Dickinson, clearly she was very well educated, and she was a very profound thinker as well. Last one. Where thou art, that is home. Where thou art, that is home. Where thou art, where you are, is home. Where you are, and what is you? Of course, one way to put it is you are love. When you are in love, you are home. When you are in your natural state of love, the essence of love, and you are living in that state, then you are home. When you are not in that state, you are not at home. You are in exile. But home is not too far. Home is still there. It's just waiting for you to come back. And however far you might think, and you might think you're very far from home. You may think that you've done something or thought something that put you beyond the pale, and that you could never be forgiven, and that you're completely unworthy, or that how could you ever be found acceptable, and how could you even say that you are love? And how could God ever accept you back? And those are all just egoic thoughts that you can easily just let go of at any time, right? It's easy to say, not so easy to do, but as you do the practice, it becomes easier and easier to just let go of those thoughts and say, no, there it is again. But I'm not gonna hold on to that thought, And then it gets to the point where that thought doesn't even get in there. It still might be there on some level, but it just does not take hold of it at all. You don't even have to like push it out of the way and say nope. It's just like no. I mean, not even no. It's just you're living in the love, and you're in your natural state of being. So I wish that for you, and thank you so much for listening, and thank you, Emily, for your beautiful poetry that you graced this world with, and you left everyone with something that could be truly helpful if you just listen. And we'll see you soon. Thank you.